TPCSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
2,000 years long, we will never settle. Hard days, no rain with a heavy metal. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop, come on, baby, higher. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it's that time of the week for Fight Night Fortunes, all you UFC fight enthusiasts, with the one and only Mr. Lou Finocchiaro at GamLou on Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it. If you're not following him, shame on you. Head on over to X at GamLou and follow. Shout out to our proud sponsor and partnerships. Of course, it's WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play, wherever you download the apps. It's free. I promise you it will be one of the most used apps moving forward and through 2024 into 2025. Viva Tequila, Seltzer, CT Bets, the team, the family, second to none. Head on over to where you get your adult beverages. The East Coast is cuckoo for coconut. Try one. And of course, Atlanta Steak and Seafood. Head on over to Facebook. Introduce yourself to Terry Smith. Tell him JD from ECSI sent you. Then go over to the website at Atlanta Steaks and Seafood. This week and next week, it's Seafood Month. All boxes of seafood, that's lobster tails, that's salmon, that's whatever he's got there. Use the promo code Seafood20, get $20 off each individual box there. Terry's a good friend and colleague on every Monday after Bill Krakenberger. So head on over to Atlanta Steaks and Seafood. Order today. The grill will be cooking by Saturday, Sunday, I promise. Let's bring in the one and only Mr. Lou Finocchiaro.
Good afternoon, Jeffrey. Thanks for having me on. I'm fired up. We have another interesting card from the Apex in Las Vegas this week. There's no rest for the wicked in the UFC world. You just keep marching one week after another, and we'll be in Saudi Arabia next week. So one more stop in Las Vegas here, and then we'll keep marching.
A good friend and colleague sent me a text early this morning about the UFC, saying in about 1 month, the 12-6 elbow will now be legal. Did you see that?
Well, that's been announced now for some months. So your friend is staying up with the rules, which is great. And yes, the 12-6 elbow is going to no longer be disallowed. And along with that, the only blemish on John Jones, the current heavyweight champion's record right now, is a DQ because of the 12-6 elbow. When the rule changes, that will probably get wiped, and he'll be declared then undefeated in his career, just to add one more feather to the GOAT's cap already.
Monday mornings, I always watch your Sneak Teep podcast. A nice win last weekend with Carpenter there. Moves yourself to a 17-11-2 and a beautiful plus 6.4 units. in a year, the UFC, the favorites just keep coming and coming and coming. Great eyes last week there, sir, on Mr. Carpenter.
Well, thank you very much, but we had to use a favorite to do it. And listen, I don't have a problem betting favorites, but I can't bet a favorite. There's a perfect example in one of the fights we'll talk about today. There's timing. You know, a favorite like Carpenter at minus 175, where we got him, he closed 210, 220. Even at 210 or 220, based on what we saw, he was worth it. And I indicated as such that that was a good price. There's a fight we'll talk about here a little bit later. Oh, actually, we're not, so I'll allude to it now. The co-main event in the fight card this week has a fighter that's the favorite that at 225, where he opened, we took him, and we took plenty of them, but it was a week ago. And now he's minus 460, 450. And so what was a great buy at 2.25 is really no longer a very good buy at minus 450. That's how value works. Really, when you look at the facts now, that to think that you were going to get the underdog at a plus 185 or so before, now you're going to get him at plus 300. That makes great sense in that co-main event. And where the pricing is now makes that fight a dog or pass only. And I will tell you that I'm fully on the favorite at a price of minus 225, but we did all our work a week ago. I had no clue the fight would get steamed that much. I figure that the young man from the MMA lab, Kyler Phillips, who's in that fight, the favorite, I figured he might go to 260, 270. I never thought it'd go that high. So the early power players are parlaying the puke out of that kid, and they've just made the price untouchable.
Yeah, before we jump into the fights here, you know, you bring up a great point here, and both of us being diehard boxing fans from way back in the day, and now where we are in today's lanes, you know, you talk about favorites and you talk about value, and you're right on top of the opening numbers. And if you see a favorite, as you did, you pounce on it early and try to beat the market because you know which way the number's going to go. And I want to backtrack to the Philly Godfather, who talks about, you know, you can't quantify greatness. And one of the people he was talking about was Floyd Mayweather, undefeated boxer who had numbers that were astronomical at some points, especially later down in his career. But the sharps, the experts, the professionals in these lanes were not afraid to go to the window when Floyd was minus 300, 400, 500, because they had numbers that said he should have been favored by minus 8, 9, and 1,000, correct?
I have to disclose that I am a huge critic of boxing. And I'm going to tell you, Mr. Mayweather set his table better than any professional fighter in history. He made Pacquiao wait 5 years past his prime to fight him. And the reason that Floyd should have been minus 800 and he was only minus 300 was because Floyd was hardened after his legacy. And so he would not take a fight that would threaten him. He fought pussycats and cupcakes. And if he had a competitive match, he made Pacquiao wait 5 years. That's all I had to see. To me, that's the cherry on top of the stench of boxing. I really can't speak highly of boxing. I can't speak highly of Floyd. He doesn't belong with Marciano or Khabib Nurmagomedov, the UFC fighter that retired undefeated. And many boxing people are going to not like me saying that, but that's my opinion. And for a guy that worked boxing for 5 decades, I'm entitled to at least my opinion. Floyd is a great marketer. He's a great maker. He's Jerry Jones. Okay, he bought the Cowboys. He made tons of money on them. He's a successful run of football. And Floyd Mayweather is not a top world-class undefeated fighter in this sport.
No, and I think you're 100% spot on that. But and again, hold on. Did you hit your wire, Lou? Check your microphone, Lou. Go back. Just a little difficulty here. We're going to get Lou right back here. It looked like there was an issue with the wire on the speaker here. Let's see if Elijah brings him back on, and we're all set here.
There we go. I'm
Lou.
good. I can hear you, and I'm sorry. For some reason, I get to talking with my hands. If I bump my microphone, it goes dead, and I can't talk without talking with my hands. So I'll sit back here and do this.
We'll go right into UFC Las Vegas 99, as you said in the intro, in the Apex small ring. 2 fights of the 11 at plus 170 or more. We're going to go right to your first fight, Elkins and Pineda. Darren Elkins currently, I'm on Sports Grid, I was going to say, excuse me, DraftKings right now. Daniel Pineda minus 112, Darren Elkins minus 108. The over-under is now juiced under 2.5 minus 145. If you like the over in that fight, over 2.5 plus 114, Lou.
If this happens again, I'm just going to get rid of the microphone.
No, you're fine. You are fine right now.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
So we're trying to talk about Elkins and Pineda, okay? And you got a guy in Pineda that's a 39-year-old well-rounded fighter, got some wrestling, got some power, and he's saying he'll retire if Elkins beats him. The only guy in the UFC a little bit older than Pineda is Darren Elkins, who's 40 years old. They call Darren Elkins, his nickname, the Damage. And he takes damage. If you sneeze on him, you'll give him a 5-inch cut. The guy bleeds at the drop of a hat. So this thing's going to be bloody. It's going to be a war. A 40-year-old against a 39-year-old. I like that matchmaking. Pineda open minus 125. So a little money coming in on Elkins. And the key here is that 2.5 under minus 165. Listen, these two dudes are durable as John Wayne's saddle. Neither one of these is putting the other guy out. This is going to be a war that you want to watch, and it's going for 15 minutes. And so the over 2.5 would be where I would steer listeners on that fight.
I can't wait for that one, and I love the explanation there. Get ready. And if you're a little weak in the stomach, you might want to pause that one. As you said, it could be a bloody mess and actually heading to that one. Smotherman and Hadley. Was there a back out in that one?
Yeah, there was. That was Hadley against Hestad, and we had a lot to say about that. I have nothing to say about Smotherman and Hadley, so let's move to Johnson and Sue Majerge, and we'll talk about them and then the main event, and then we'll come back and I'll slip one quick one in.
All right. So Johnson currently minus 225. The dog plus 185, over 2.5 minus 215. The under right now at plus 165.
Every week I got to put in a name like Sue Mujerji and make sure. But this week you went around it. You beat me on it. So I'm going to have to get more depth. This is going to be a great fight. Sue, the boy named Sue, long, tall, used to be kind of gangly and feeble. but he's really worked on strengthening up. The UFC's forced him to compete at a higher level. He's gotten stronger. Guy's a good striker. Johnson is tall as him, long as him. Maybe not as good a striker as him, but Johnson's got BJJ in wrestling. And Sue in the interviews is saying, oh, he's going to want to take me down. He doesn't want to strike with me. And Johnson's saying, this is a mixed martial arts fight. I'm going to stand with him. And then let's see, I'm going to pressure him, which means he's going right after him to take him down, get on top, and put damage on him from ground and pound. And I think Johnson, the favorite here, has the ability to do that. Where this fight takes place will tell us who is winning, Jeff. And Samarji needs to keep it up on the feet. I should say Sue Mujaharji needs to keep it on the feet. And Johnson wants to definitely get in close, make it dirty, and eventually take him down.
And you're right. I did finally. I tried. It was funny. Leading up to the show, I pronounced it 30 different ways, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna leave this one for Lou there.
Well, and I've mispronounced it a couple different times, so I'm no better. Don't be. I mean, I'm trying as well. That's why it's just easiest to call him Sue.
Main event, right? Mr. Hernandez, as known as Fluffy, against Michelle Pereira. Some money definitely coming in on this fight here. Currently, Fluffy is minus 135. Mr. Hernandez, Pereira plus 114. Under 2.5 is now minus 154. The over 2.5 is plus 120. Hernandez minus 200 in some spots as an opener. All the way down to that 145 number as Pereira's gaining some steam here, and currently at just plus 114 on DraftKings, Lou.
Yeah, good. That's a great summary, Jeff. There's been money come in on Pereira, and that's because what they've seen of this guy lately is nothing but short of impressive. First of all, he's a monster, and how he makes 185 is astonishing. What's even more astonishing than that is that he used to fight at 170 before that. I don't know how he made 170, but since he went from 170 and had success, he's really had huge success at 85. He's explosive. He has capoeira striking, spinning, heel strikes, elbows, all kind of jumping knees into the chin. This dude, and he loves the show. He loves the applause. He loves to play to the people. He's a flamboyant, creative, explosive striker. That said, he's stepping up in class to fight Fluffy. He's fought at 185 and fought journeyman or less fighters. And yes, he's won 3 or 4 in a row coming into this. He has great momentum, and he's a huge dude. Fluffy, on the other hand, a little more premeditated, a little more of a grappler. He wins his fights through attrition, meaning he forces you to be in there and have to fight him for a full 15 if it's a 3-round fight. Or in this case, because it's a 5-round fight, 25 minutes. Pereira doesn't have the style to be able to expend efficiently because he expends so much, so quick, so hot, so early. So the key for Fluffy will be to get this fight into the 3rd round and beyond. And I feel real strong that he does. Now, Pereira can knock him out, spin around, and the heel hits you in the chin, and it's all over, and there we go. But I don't think so. I think this is a classic case of Fluffy having tremendous value now, because I think the price should be the minus 200. And now that you can give it to me, we took it the other day at minus 130. It's only 135 now. I think that price creeps back up with late money coming in on Fluffy. I would tell you 135 after it opened minus 200 is a good price on Anthony Hernandez.
You said you wanted to maybe, since we didn't have that one other one, there was one other fight maybe up your sleeve here?
Yeah, I got a live dog and a kid named Nicolau, who's a Brazilian. He's fighting a Kazakhstani fighter named Almabayev. Almabayev is a pretty good favorite, minus 180 or so. The take back on Nicolau, plus 150. He changed camps a little bit. Nicolau is just about 2 or 3 fights removed from like top 6 status in the division. And I think he's a live dog here. And I would, you can take him now or you can kind of wait. I think the price might go up another nickel or a dime, but I think Nicolau's a live dog on this card, Jeff.
Great night of fights. I can't wait to watch, of course, in Las Vegas at the Apex next week, as you said, 308 at Abu Dhabi. Is that correct?
Yeah, coming right up. And boy, you want to talk about killer fights on that card. Holy smokes. I can assure you by then, I'll put some bubble gum and spit on my microphone, make sure it doesn't interrupt us again like this week.
No problems here. The scroll has been going the whole time. As we say, you can always find yourself at Gamlu on Twitter or X. Mondays, your Sneak Teat podcast, and of course, Friday, your About Business podcast after the weigh-ins. But as we always close up the show, we like to give you the stage here to tell them where to get your website, your podcast, and everything else, Lou.
The key is lou@gamblu.com. Email me with questions, comments, criticisms, whatever you want. Here's one I'll leave you with. Dodgers-Yankees World Series. How great is it? And I was pleased to be in attendance for Arizona, Texas last year. Believe me, baseball, the networks, the fans, everybody's going to like Yankees and Dodgers better. And what the Yankees are doing to Cleveland, that's what the Dodgers are going to do to the Yankees. I'm sorry. It's East Coast sports investors, and I'm talking to East Coast people, but I think the Dodgers, and I only bet playoff baseball. This Dodger team might be a little too much, and I think the Yanks might find that, and it's really an AL-NL thing. I think the NL's a little better.
I kind of agree to you. We pre-flop took a look at the board that Mr. Benson put up at Circa and the exactors, and did do a little chalk exacta boxes. LA versus the Yankees and Yankees versus LA, 1,300 and plus 1,350. Where last year's jackpot of all jackpots, your Arizona Diamondbacks in Texas really.
Oh, that was long.
There.
That was nobody saw.
That,
Nobody saw that coming, and I don't think many people saw chalk versus chalk coming this year either. I mean, everybody seemed to think it was wide open, and right now looks like two best teams are about to play one another.
Well, I can't wait. That'll be a nice East Coast, West Coast, as you said. Dodgers, Yankees. I mean, Vince Scully back in the day. I can't wait. So
I can't get any
on the week. No fights this Saturday. Go follow Lou at Gamlu on Twitter. Go to his website at
Gamblu.com.
Gamlu.com. Send him an email at lou@gamlu.com. Shout out to Elijah Cox behind the glass. 5 o'clock, Ron Marmolewski closes out our day, NFL and NCAA. Until then, everyone behave, be safe, and see you soon.